Worn white and all of them. We're underway. It's a quad one opportunity for the Scarlet Knights, and it's Davis with the basketball. Watt Mag in his third game. He had a good all-around game against LIU, scored in double figures.
He's been awesome since he's been back. Such a huge lift for this team as he buries it in the corner. Steve Michael talked about what he brings to this lineup, and he just has the experience. He's been here before.
Well, yeah, a stoppage here. They called it a 2.
Against the fan, you got to move a little bit quicker than that, people. We got basketball to play.
It's like we got momentum. We hit a shot on our first possession. Mississippi State scores over 76 a game. That is more than 10 more than they had last year. It's a team that made it to the NCAA tournament. Jeffries lost his footing, but no travel called as they're deep in the shot clock. Matthews doubled on the baseline, and now he's calling for traveling.
And this is a Bulldogs offense that wants to take their time. And when everything goes awry, they look to get downhill. Good job by Rutgers being in all the right places defensively.
Well, and that is the biggest concern for Chris Jans today. His team only had 3 turnovers Sunday against North Texas in a win, but they have not been good at taking care of the basketball all season. And you know, Rutgers solid on the defensive end.
And he talked about the punitive measures that he puts his guys through once they commit infractions in practice. It definitely paid dividends against North Texas.
Michael Davis with the pull-up, the freshman from Tennessee. Only averages 5 a game, but he's coming off a 12-point performance.
And how about the poise of this young player in J. Mike? He has been exactly what the doctor ordered for Steve Michael in his team. And another under-the-radar recruit who's playing above expectations early on in his college career.
Bell was fouled, and they counted in the first on Amori. Said they got him on the arm. Not a ton of contact. So Jimmy Bell on the line, 6'10", 280-pound big man. He's a 69% free throw shooter, and he rattles it in.
I walked into practice for Mississippi State yesterday. They had it at St. Benedict's right around the corner, and the first person I saw was Jimmy Bell Jr. And I asked Chris Jans what he's meant. He said that is a grown man.
It's a grown man, but nobody got in the paint. And Noah Fernandez, his first bucket. Rutgers is open 3 at 3.
Noah Fernandez, so steady for this team. A calming influence in this 3-guard rotation for Steve Michael and the Scarlet Knights.
Deshaun Davis for 3, and that's solid. He's a 32% three-point shooter. Again, a lot of the three-pointers for Mississippi State come off the bench for Josh Hubbard, but they do have capable guys in the starting lineup.
Local flavor from the Bronx here in the area. He likes to chuck them up. He has a lot of people in the crowd, and Andre Hyatt coming back with a tray ball of his own. His offense has been picking up. And with Watt Mag back in the lineup, he doesn't have to guard the opposing team's best player. You can imagine his statistics will continue to increase.
They just got inside and off the glass, and Amori's down on the floor. He's slow to get up. That is the one man this defense can ill afford to lose. He's shaking off his left leg. Team leader in blocks, nearly a double-double on the season. Looks like he's fine. 9-8 early. You highlight this as a defensive-minded game. Both these teams top 20 in a lot of defensive categories. And here we are, and it's a shootout early on.
How about that? We were talking about first and 50. They want none of that.
You were talking first to 50. I said it was 100-100. Pushing the ball. Jeffries in the lane. Bodies to the deck, and the tap out to Matthews. Tough shot, and Amori could not get his hand on it. It'll be a third chance for Mississippi State in the second year under Chris Jans, who has a wonderful win percentage in his career. 5th among active coaches. He spent 5 seasons at New Mexico State. They beat UConn as a 13 seed in the NCAA tournament in 2022 before losing a, first to 50 game against Arkansas. He sent the Razorbacks to the Sweet 16.
And a lot of similarities between Steve Michael and Chris Jans, and most recognizable, they're builders. And they do it in a way in which it's around toughness, it's around defense, and this is a guy that's coached in Chris Jans at every level starting at JUCO and some of his jobs that he had to be able to support himself and his family early on in his career. He parked cars. He was a director of a dorm. He was a substitute teacher.
How great would that be, by the way, if an SEC basketball coach is valet parking at the local Chili's?
He's an IO deal there. You never know these days, man.
And another stoppage here. Shot clock reset. Now, Mag had the basketball. Now they put it at the 29. They reset it to 19 as if it was an offensive rebound. But Rutgers did have possession. So they've got this right. That should be at 29 seconds.
And you mentioned this Mississippi State team getting to the NCAA tournament last year. They did so while being last in three-point productivity, something that he knew that they needed addressed this season. And this guy, Josh Hubbard, number 13, has been a large part in creeping up those statistics.
And we got another stoppage here. We got another problem with the stops. So early in this game, we've got some issues here. We'll hopefully get those taken care of. Off the inbounds, Cameron Matthews with a quick deuce, and Mississippi State up one.
The catalyst for this Bulldogs team. He does just about everything. He can score it, he can guard it, he can rebound it, brings a steady sense of toughness too.
We're on a foul on Davis. Instead, it's Jermichael Davis on the drive and into the hands of the dangerous scorer. Here is Josh Hubbard, 16 points a game, all off the bench. He has not started a game this year.
Spoke with Steve Pico at practice earlier this week, and he mentioned that this is a North and South game, a game that against a defense as stout as Mississippi State, you got to get to the rim just to establish a toughness and tone.
Now on the inside. So the Bulldogs have opened up 5 of 7 from the floor. Rutgers hit its first 4 shots. Solid offense going on against 2 very good defensive teams. Fernandez from the elbow got caught. Amori inside the arc, and that rattles home.
That's a big time sign for Rutgers offensively. It's going to be tough for him to battle in an established position against Jimmy Bell Jr. deep in the paint. So if he gets that mid-range going, he'll be a much more versatile offensive attack.
Well, he's given up about 45 pounds to the big man. Bell looked like he stepped out of bounds. No, he tried to go first. So a turnover, Mississippi State. They got good action going on here early on.
High intensity. Jimmy Bell taking his time, getting over that left shoulder. Whenever you're competing against the likes of SEC size and the physicality, you got to hit first.
Gavin Griffiths, the freshman, on the floor, along with Derek Simpson getting their first action. You were a big man at Rutgers. How tough is that to teach over the career?
It's tough because there's a fine line between physical and being, overtly physical where, you come out and pick up unnecessary fouls and take yourself out the game. So you got to be aggressive, but you also got to temper in certain situations as well.
Turnover the first of the game for Rutgers. And this is a problem, too, because Amori's playing with a foul. And Keyshawn Murphy on the floor, another 6'10" man that the Bulldogs throw onto the floor.
Coming off the best game of his career against North Texas as well. He mixes it up, has great height, great length.
Into the corner, an open look at 3. There's that length, battle for the rebound into the bench, and it's Rutgers basketball. It is amazing, and you talked about this being at Mississippi State practice yesterday, and Tolu Smith, who hasn't played yet, recovering from a foot injury, but is practicing for the Bulldogs. The amount of size that they throw at you throughout the course of a game, and then we'll add him, who's also 6'10" as well.
Got some big boys, and SEC strong, definitely you can see it resonate throughout this individual team, and iron sharpens iron. Tolu Smith definitely helping Jimmy Bell Jr. in his development in his final season as collegiate ranks.
Second effort at it, on the rebound for Keyshawn Murphy. I mentioned it, his best game, 18 points, and they needed it because they got off to a slow start. Offensive rebound, and Griffiths ripped it away.
Rebounding will be huge. That's been a weak spot for the Scarlet Knights. Minus 2.2, last in the Big Ten in rebounds per game. Talking about differential. I have to hit the boards to battle with the Bulldogs here today.
Moore had it knocked away from behind. Will stay with Mississippi State. Lock Mag will check back in for the Scarlet Knights. along with Antoine Wolfel getting his first action, the sophomore from Cleveland.
Well, you want physicality, that's your guy right there. Big Wolf, as they call him in the Rutgers community, a former football player, tight end. It's nothing to him when he gets down there and he's battling amongst other bigs.
Down to 6 on the shot clock. It's in the hands of Murphy. Good footwork inside, and he was fouled by Wolfel. And the redshirt sophomore from Birmingham will go to the free throw line.
It's a nice up and under move right there, playing in space. Keyshawn Murphy at 6'10", 235. Has a nice package to his game. He can face you up, he can back you down, and he's the type of guy that if he gets going early in the contest, that momentum builds throughout the game.
And he's a part of that group for Mississippi State. They throw a lot of points off the bench that come in and provide spark. It's not just Josh Hubbard. Keyshawn Murphy last year was a 3-point per game guy. This year he's up to 7-point per game guy. A lot of developments and continuity from last year's team.
A top 100 recruit in the class of 2021, so you know he has the capability. It's just the mental aspect, which is oftentimes overlooked when high schoolers get up to this very high competitive level in high Division I basketball.
Rutgers has 5 field goals. They've been made by 5 different players. Griffiths trying to make it 6, and that was tapped out of bounds. I'll go back the other direction.
Gavin Griffiths, he's been aggressive all season, and part of that freshman duo playing big-time minutes for Steve Peichel and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Might have missed there, but he'll continue to get him up.
Being hot or cold throughout the course of his freshman season. Shaquille Moore on the great pass, left it short. And that's the other part that Griffith's going to have to do today, Austin. He's got to help on the boards when he's on the floor.
Yeah, part of that, you know, big time.
There's your aggression.
I was about to say he needs to obviously build out his body, worry on the physical aspect, and that comes with natural time and development. But take it to the chest of the defender right there. Leave no doubt. Great toughness. Gavin Griffiths. Excellent touch off the glass as well.
Griffith started the first game of the year against Princeton. Also started against Wake Forest, been coming off the bench, though, for most of the non-conference season.
And he's the one, I think, that started to turn the tide from a recruiting standpoint. The 4-turn 5-star, the highest rated recruit in the Steve Peichel area. He was able to go up into UConn territory and, you know, convince him to get out of Connecticut as the #1 player in that state and compete in the state of New Jersey for the Scarlet Knights.
Yeah. But obviously around the Rutgers program right now, recruiting a major conversation. Right, not that long ago, Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, 2 of the top 10 players in all of high school basketball, both verbally committing to the Scarlet Knights, and that's a big deal. Block Mag on the drive, no. Wolfel taps it back in, and Rutgers back in front.
And that's why it's so important to attack the rim. Even if you're unable to convert, defense is out of place, and it provides offensive rebounding opportunities. Nice job reading that basketball by Antoine Wolfel. And back to your point, Jason, seismic waves have been made by the Rutgers Scarlet Knights when it comes to recruitings, with the #2 and #3 ranked players all signed up to compete for the Scarlet Knights next season. We'll talk about it after the break.
DirecTV Sports Central brings your game stats and scores together. And now,
another drink on Easton Ave on Rutgers campus after some of the heroic things he's done in his career. But big time news: Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, Lathan Somerville, Brian Dortz, Dylan Grant. The narrative, the stigma about Rutgers basketball, it has shifted. Credit to this Rutgers coaching staff who have gone out, pound the pavement, developed relationships in the right way, and it's paid dividend, because now the Scarlet Knights are being mentioned amongst the Blue Bloods with the recruiting class that they have coming in for the 2024 basketball season.
Dylan Harper offers literally anywhere he wanted to go in the country: Duke, North Carolina, and Rutgers winning those battles is a massive deal for Steve Pikiell, who has built something big in his 8 years at Rutgers. Mag, what was on the line? Just a 2 off the arc anyway. So Rutgers started the game 4 of 4. There's 3 of their last 11 shots, and they've missed 6 in a row.
Dylan and Ace Bailey teeing off against one another on the 19th at the City of Palm Classics down in Florida. And what I love most is I refresh my feed on Twitter, and who's at the game? You know, Steve Pikiell down there recruiting. Even amongst the season, you got to wear multiple hats to continue to push the progression forward on the recruiting front.
Did not get enough lift to get it over the rim, but he did save it on another offensive rebound. Bulldogs have missed 7 straight shots. Davis was hit, and he'll earn a trip to the line. Gavin Griffiths off the bench has been aggressive on the defensive end. But Deshaun Davis, a 71% free throw shooter, will get 2.
And sometimes you got to stop the bleeding when, you know, offense just isn't in a flow, and that's great recognition by Davis, getting to a jump stop, utilizing the shot fake and anticipating the contact coming over by Griffiths. Strong play right there by number 10.
Now, this game was 10-9, less than 3 minutes in. High scoring pace. Teams were on pace to hit around 75, 80 points a game. Mississippi State does score 76 a game. But they are a defensive-minded team. And Griffiths again right to the bucket. He took the contact from the 280-pound big man and still put it in.
So are you saying my initial expectations from a scoring standpoint were accurate?
Well, sometimes things settle back down. And a foul underneath. And that is called on Griffiths. So he has played well here off the bench, but he just picked up his 2nd foul.
And his recognition at his very young age of how to read defenses and how to penetrate, knows when to rise over, knows when to rip through and try to get 2 in the lane. It has to excite you as a basketball fan, because as he continues to lift in the weight room and attack film, the potential, scary.
Well, he goes to the bench. 5 points and 3 rebounds. Good inbounds play, but tapped out by Mag. Rutgers has a 3-on-1. Mag draws the contact, and yes, he earns the trip to the line, but when you get a breakout like that, I think maybe an easier bucket.
Yeah, and you love the aggressiveness, and Mawot Mag had numbers right there. Spacing was a little bit jumbled up, as there was almost 2, maybe even 3-on-1 in that predicament, but you'll take the free throws. This has been a point of emphasis for this team, being able to convert at a higher clip. And at practice earlier this week for Rutgers and Steve Pikiell, whenever players were missing, there were punitive actions too for the Scarlet Knights, up and backs and free throw push-up opportunities as well for people who aren't converting on free throws.
Right, 3rd game back from Mawot Mag. He tore his ACL last year in Madison Square Garden. Game the Scarlet Knights beat Michigan State, but then after that, 3-8 the rest of the year and did not make the tournament. But he helps on the defensive end so much, and they force a 4th Mississippi State turnover. Swarming
defense. This 2-2-1 pressure in this 3-guard rotation of Noah Fernandez, Derek Simpson, and Jamichael Davis just wears opposing teams down.
Scarlet Knights' largest lead. They're up 5 and shooting 50% from the floor. Fernandez on the drive. He got contact, high degree of difficulty. And saved, but it's saved to Hyatt. Takes the 3.
It's a good look. Love the shot. Love the activity from the Scarlet Knights so far.
Davis, tough shot. No. Bell taps it to himself. Oh, and right off the face of Simpson. Solid effort by Jones, and now that's not going to feel good tomorrow. Might not feel good right now.
And a little bit of chirping right there as Jones Jr. just airmailed that directly off the dome of Derek Simpson. Come on. He had a whole lot of real estate to choose where to throw that basketball. He put it right on the chin. You ever get one of those hooping outside back in the day, Jason?
I was thinking about getting a toy in the mouth this morning. Simpson, tough defense on Davis. Out to Moore for three. And Mississippi State struggling from beyond the arc. And out of bounds, Rutgers basketball. Bulldogs can't buy a bucket, Austin. They missed their last 9 shots.
They sure can't. That is because the rotations for the Scarlet Knights have been phenomenal. Both teams playing hard, but not a lot of clean looks on the last couple of possessions by Mississippi State.
Yeah, they haven't hit a bucket in going on 7 minutes. And on this end, too, Rutgers has only turned the basketball over 1 time. Right on cue, almost a steal.
5 for Mississippi State to that point, resulting in the 4 points for RU, and that's playing right into what they like to do. And Chris Jans commended this team against their effort against North Texas. Only 3 turnovers for that, which is unheard of. I've never heard of a team at the collegiate level only committing 3 turnovers in the course of a college game.
It was their fewest in 23 years. Simpson, check that, 33 years. Hubbard with the basketball, yet to score here in the first half. 16 points a game. Good pass. Davis in the corner, and that is 10 straight misses. It's a triple team on Bell, and a jump ball.
We talked about that presence, that veteran leadership Noah Fernandez brings, but he got that dog in him too. And you see him right there on that double down on the strongest guy on the court, Jimmy Bell Jr. No worries. Give me that. Love the approach by Fernandez thus far. He was the first guy over in the scrum when Derek Simpson had that basketball thrown off his face.
Austin Williams on the floor for the first time this afternoon for Rutgers. Last 2 years at Hartford. This is his 112th.
Austin Williams was a bright spot against Illinois. Not with his point productivity, but with his energy and his effort. He doesn't back down against any.
This is an important game, too, for the Scarlet Knights. They don't have any quad 1 wins on the resume. Obviously, Big Ten will change that in the difficulty. But an opportunity here on a neutral floor against the Bulldogs team that at the moment is top 40 in the net. And they've got a 5-point lead. We'll head to a break midway through the first half.
You're such a good listener, Thomas. It makes me feel...
I can only consume so much information at once.
Well, you could watch defense all on all 4 screens, right? That's certainly been the case here. The last 9 minutes of action. Both of these teams started hot. Water tends to find its level, and at the moment that level is defense. Bulldogs hit their first 3 and have missed 6 in a row.
2-3 matchup look right here for the Scarlet Knights, switching it up.
And right on cue, out of the break, DJ Jeffries, a 22% three-point shooter, knocks one in, and that's the Bulldogs' first bucket in about 8 minutes.
Another one of these interchangeable, lengthy defenders and opportunistic offensive players Mississippi State has at their disposal. Memphis transfer stepping up big.
Right off the hands of Fernandez, too hot on the pass from Austin Williams. And right out of the break, they ran a different set, and they got him an open look.
That's a really good set, and not the greatest defense by RE. You got to chop up, but really good balance right there. Got his left right down. A lot of guys are going to hit that at this level. RU's got to get out and take out that airspace.
DJ Jeffries today made his 101st career start. From a big-time recruit who began his career at Memphis, transferred to Mississippi State, and a foul underneath, and that is the second foul on Cliff Amore. So undersized as a group against Mississippi State. Now how long, if at all, can he play with 2?
No, not very long, because Antoine Woolfolk coming into the game, and Jimmy Bell Jr. carving out space right there. A nice look. Mississippi State looks at that opposite pass into the corner, and oftentimes you're also able to get that drop off into the paint as well. Weak side guy has to be aware of where you are in accordance to the basketball when you're defending against the Bulldogs.
So Woolfolk onto the floor. Plays about 17 minutes a game. See what happens here with Omori. And again, Steve Pikiell, how does he view playing with 2 fouls in the first half?
For Cliff Omori.
Well, right on cue, Gavin Griffiths comes back into the game with 2 fouls.
There's a lot of trust that he has in his guys to go out there and operate accordingly if you are in a difficult situation, such as Cliff Omori. With 6:55 remaining in the first half, I wouldn't be surprised to see him back in the game for the Scarlet Knights.
Hubbard picked up the foul, riding Davis down the floor. And again, Omori, the defensive end, right? The blocks, the defensive boards, so important here because Mississippi State is such a good offensive rebounding team.
And all week, Brendan Knight, who had the scout for Rutgers, and Steve Pikiell emphasized, don't dribble. Don't dribble, dribble, dribble. Advance the basketball up the court to not allow this Mississippi State defense to get set. That last situation, the Jermichael Davis one-on-one, is the opportunity where you want to beat your man one-on-one down the basketball.
There is Coach Knight, his 8th year.
This dude is, everybody has grown to appreciate Brendan Knight because of his recruiting prowess, but he is a basketball junkie. Had a chance to chop it up with him at practice too. And we were talking about how everybody is so in love with analytics in today's game, but at his level and his experience, he's more so about showing me what you can do out on the basketball court. So a fine balance between, you know, preparation and what meets the eye, in addition to what the numbers are saying and illustrating.
Rutgers going to have to manage that balance right now, Austin, with fouls. Woolfolk, Omori, and Kip Griffiths all playing with 2 fouls, although Omori on the bench. And Woolfolk still trying to be aggressive. He's on the drive. Fernandes closed out. Approaching 6 minutes to go in the first half. Rutgers' largest lead was 5. Mississippi State was up by 3 early. The turnaround, and the Bulldogs back in front on a little 7-0 run.
That's excellent scramble defense, but sometimes you just come up against better offense. A nice pace in the paint right there by the big fella, getting over that right shoulder this time. Soft left-handed touch.
Fernandes went into trouble trying to find Hyatt. He's doubled and double dribbled. So he dribbled too far into trouble and then kept going. And well, you said earlier there was a lot of conversation going on. They're in the corner. Mississippi State's got some players who are standing up there on the corner talking to Rutgers. That's Jaquan Scott. They're going to have him sit down.
And this is a program similar to Rutgers that's built on toughness, a blue-collar agricultural school. That's why Chris Jans is the perfect fit. I remember in that introductory press conference, he talked about not how many wins his team was going to have, but how hard his guys are going to compete each and every possession.
Last year completely on the defensive end. That's great ball movement for an open 3. And Davis hits another one. Deshaun Davis has 9. And the Bulldogs have their largest lead of the first half.
Deshaun Davis down and shot ready. Bronx native is coming out here in Brick City playing no games.
Deshaun Davis led the Pac-12 in assists. He had 1 year at Oregon State. And he led the conference at nearly 5.5 assists per game. And last year at Mississippi State. Now Rutgers has gone cold on the offensive end. Their defense, again, now Woolfolk and Griffiths both with 2 fouls, and Bell threw it out of bounds. But it was the ball movement that got things going to get that open look.
Oppenheimer spraying it from one side of the court to the other is how you catch defenses out of position. Really good find right there to Deshaun Davis in the corner. He's another example of how to get really good and really old and mature via transfer. You know, this is a team that's comprised of older players that have had multiple stops in their collegiate career. They play with a certain edge and toughness because, you know, you've been in wars before.
Yeah, Mississippi State starting lineup, all seniors, or grad transfers, or 5th-year seniors. Tough 2 inside. And Rutgers stabbed a scoring drought that was more than 5 minutes. So Mississippi State has had a 8-minute run without a field goal. Rutgers had a 5-minute run without a field goal. Now they got a 3-point game. Murphy stuck in the corner, down to 4 to shoot. Jeffries hoists and did not touch iron. Shot clock violation, which will send us to a break. If you like defense for the holidays, we've got you covered.
But I compete sometimes with the Rutgers managers when I'm doing radio for the team in the manager's game as their ringer. And we're playing against the Hawkeyes manager, and Caitlin Clark walks in. And I'm starstruck because she's up there with the upper echelon of players that I have to see just with how influential she's been to the game of basketball. Not only for women, just all in all. It was really, really cool to see her. And ticket prices for her coming to New Jersey are over the roof. I'm trying to get a ticket, and it hasn't been easy.
They went to the Kohl Center, which was sold out for a women's game for the first time in more than a decade and a half, and they were waiting in the freezing cold about 4 hours before tip-off. Down to 5 on the clock, and a tough bucket. Cameron Matthews got it inside. He is coming off a great all-around game. He had 9 points, 12 boards, 7 assists, and 5 steals.
Stat stuffer. Speaking with Chris Jans about Cam Matthews' influence on his team, and he's the type of guy that he has a particular look in his eyes. You know that he's prepared. He compared him to the Mawat Mag for the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Dre Hyatt back on the floor for Rutgers. Cliff Amore picked up his second foul with about 7 minutes to go in this first half. He has not come back on the floor. Woolfolk, though, is playing with 2 fouls. Mag hit a 3 to start the game and has not hit one since. Well, the Bulldogs were concerned with turnovers. They have given it away 7 times here in the first half. Davis, good dump down. Matthews is clobbered, no foul, and Rutgers breaks away.
Nice defense right there. Scarlet Knights remaining vertical. Turning defense into offense. Derek Simpson, his vision this season has been at another level. Nice rim run. The Watt Mag turning that contest right there to a layup opportunity.
And Mag got his fingers on it, tried to break the other way, but knocked it out of bounds. Well, and for Simpson, too, you talked about this earlier. He has had to accept that role because he started earlier in this year and now coming off the bench and keeping that intensity in a different role.
Yeah, and I said the same thing to Steve Peichel about this 2-spot situation with 3 dynamic guards at his disposal. And he said, quite simply, although he's not starting, he's still playing a boatload of minutes for this team. And he's only going to continue to be more and more influential as the season progresses for Rutgers.
They're not switching up defenses. Down to 3 to shoot. In the corner, Jeffries, Simpson the board. And Rutgers with a 3 can tie it here in the first half. Just 1 triple here in the opening half, 1 of 5. Davis playing that off the backboard and the rim, and it's last touch by Bell. It will stay with Rutgers.
Winning plays like that is what makes Mawat Mag's influence so spectacular. Trying to get to the basketball even when he doesn't have a clean shot creates another possession opportunity for the Scarlet Knights.
Timeout taken by Steve Peichel. We'll keep it right here. 1:31 to go in the half. Your impressions here of this game for both these teams here.
1 game this season in the state of New Jersey, and their 1 neutral site contest against Princeton, first game of the season, didn't go well.
That was a loss. And that 1 game outside of the Garden State was at Wake Forest. Double-digit loss there. And that was coming off the double-digit loss at home against Illinois. Again, Mawat Mag didn't play in either of those games. Rutgers knew that they'd be different when he came back and got home. And this is really that first opportunity to prove that. The win against Seton Hall was big. Now the opportunity here. And at the moment, what is a quad 1 game for the Scarlet Knights. Mawat Mag, nice find. Simpson the touch. And he could not put it down.
Cheeky attempt right there, trying to get that high off the glass to deter the rim protection and the shot block.
Hubbard was fouled. That is on Simpson, and it's the 7th on the Scarlet Knights. So Hubbard, the freshman, will go to the free throw line. Austin, you highlighted it off the start. More than 4,300 career points in high school. at Madison Ridgeland, a Mississippi State record, and he has not stopped the moment he started in Starkville to lead the team as a freshman. Look, freshmen have done that in their college careers, but to do it all off the bench is a totally different story.
It's nuts. And he has the respect of, obviously not over only Chris Jans, but Steve Feichel and his staff. Feichel compared him to Dana Barrows and, Vinny, the microwave Johnson, as someone who's mature beyond his years. And how are you impactful at 5'11" in the game of basketball? You got to be locked in to the details. And he talked about how influential his father was in his development. He taught him how to shoot at an early age. They put him in a prep school since his grade school days. And he even attends each and every one of his games up until this point in his college career.
And a timeout taken by Chris Jans. Very good this year, too. And then obviously Purdue beating as many great teams that they have here in the non-conference.
They look as well-balanced as any team I've seen in college basketball this season.
3-point lead for the Bulldogs out of the timeout. Bell, the dump down. Mag ripped it away.
There's nowhere to go. Defensively, everybody is so compact and everywhere you need to be on the catch.
Simpson tried to hold in the air, and now Mississippi State can hold for the last shot. Just about a half-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. In the hands of the freshman. Now with 7, Hubbard's got to go. And Hyatt ripped it out of his hands. 3 for Hyatt. Beats the buzzer. And hits it. The steal and the triple to end the half. Break. Hyatt had that steal and the 3 right before half to tie this thing up and end Rutgers on a quick 5-0 run to end the first 20 minutes. Morey back on the floor. He sat the last 7 minutes with 2 fouls. And they go right to him, and Mississippi State with a double team.
That double coming over, and DJ Jeffries on the weak side. Blind spot. Good recognition by Clifford Morris.
Knocked out of bounds. 9 on the shot clock.
Rutgers has to continue to attack and get downhill, even if not converting at a high clip on layup opportunities. Presents follow-up chances, offensive rebound opportunities, and kickouts for wide-open threes.
That's a huge break there for Rutgers because Bell kicked that ball 7 rows up. I mean, had he kicked it 1 row up, it would have been the same, but they get a fresh 20. They immediately turn it over.
Mississippi State putting that 5-man on baseline out-of-bounds opportunities to deter the vision, the inbound.
Work it down to Bell, and the size and great body control for the 280-pounder to give Mississippi State the lead.
That's just excellent recognition by Bell, being able to see the floor for the slip in the ball screen situation. A nice pass. He didn't overcommit. Could have been a charge situation at his size. He's able to take the contact and get it high off the glass.
That's the experience. He's the first player in double figures. He's got 11. But he's also got 6 rebounds here in this ball game, working tough on the interior.
They force-fed him early in the first half and got away from it a bit, going back to number 15 to start half number 2.
They go back to him again. Back-to-back buckets out of the locker room. Jimmy Bell averages 9 points a game, but his season best is 14, and he's right there. Hyatt was bullied by Jeffries. Called the foul on the floor. The interior, and this is the body control you were talking about.
Excellent slip. You saw Mawat Mag was almost ready to try to draw a charge on that play, but not enough contact to warrant it. But the touch around the basket is what you recognize from the West Virginia transfer. He's played at this level in these intense battles many, many times before back in Morgantown.
Left it short. Shaquille Moore with the rebound. Jeffries on the drive into triple coverage, and he traveled.
Nice job getting back in defense, but an even better job of attacking the basketball without fouling, getting 5 fingers in a palm on that rock. Steve Pikiell talked about how this has to be a handsy game. Creating contact with the basketball, showing the referees that you're being aggressive. Rutgers responded.
Hyatt tried to work hard to get into the paint. That is another tough shot. And you kind of see the difference here in the second half. They do not want to let Rutgers get set, trying to push the basketball in transition a little bit more.
Taking up that airspace on the drive.
Fernandez from behind, swiped it from Matthews, and put it in.
How about that? Excellent recognition coming from the blind spot, but Noah Fernandez putting the defender in that hostage situation, taking away his jump and finish it through contact.
That's been such a big part for Rutgers this year. Points in the fast break. Bell battling for a rebound, and who's it on? And it is on Amori, and that is his third.
That's big. That's big because obviously, as you mentioned, his impact on this game is huge from his rim protection. Second in the nation in blocks per contest, but Jimmy Bell is starting to go off for the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Amori stays on the floor with those 3 fouls, and you wonder if they go right back and attack him. And he's not backing down, and he knocked it out. He was saved. But again, Cliff's got to be careful with those fouls. Nice find, and Matthews the finish.
Very underrated aspect of Bell's game is his court vision and interior passing. Nice cut by Cam Thomas on the baseline. Nice little flush, if you will, over the rim.
Good patience from Fernandez, but not floated in. And that is 9th rebound for Bell. And 5 of those have been on the offensive side. His impact has been felt in a big way in this ballgame. And he wants the basketball again. Trying to take over, this time on Hyatt in the kick out. Back out to Jeffries for 3. And Amori pushed on the rebound. And just like that, back-to-back fouls on Cliff Amori, who has 4 with 16 minutes to go.
That's not a smart play right there. Knowing the situation and your foul predicament as Cliff Amori. You already had good position with Jimmy Bell rooted under the rim right there. So you got to just let him go and count on your teammates to come help you gang rebound. Too valuable of an asset to be planted on the bench for the Scarlet Knights. Nice find right here.
Hyatt draws the foul. Well, Cliff Amori, Austin, picked up 2 fouls in a span of 67 seconds. And again, obviously, game flow will dictate what Steve Pikiell will have to do. But this is a long time not to have your leading scorer, rebounder, and best defender.
It is. And these are crucial minutes for Antoine Woolfolk. And he's played him before. He's battled amongst a lot of bigs in the Big Ten Conference and spelled Cliff Amori all his freshman season. See how he responds.
Matthews hits them both. Mississippi State, its largest lead of the ball game. So adversity here early in the second half for Rutgers. How will they handle it? Davis trying to find space, and the Bulldogs with their size all over him. Foul call by Hubbard on the interior. That is his second, which will send us to a break. Cliff Amori on the bench. The question will be for how long? Austin, he did not get a chance to play the whole first half with foul trouble. And again, he has not had as big of an impact in this game because of it.
And that's huge because he does so many different things for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. One percentage that I was privy to was he's #1 in the Hakeem percentage, the sum of a player's blocks and steals throughout a contest at 15.9%. This shows you that if it's not him scoring, RU's a completely different squad when he's over there sitting on the bench.
Cliff Amori does not have a rebound. Right, think about that for a second. You're talking about one of the best rebounders in college basketball who does not have a rebound in this game.
He's been battling each and every position with the physicality, trying to root out some of these bigs from Mississippi State. Sometimes that takes away from your ability to go and then track the basketball.
Mag tried to track it down, knocked it out of bounds. It's a very aggressive Mississippi State front court. They have been all over the glass today, and Mag's going to take a seat. Griffiths and Simpson back in for the Scarlet Knights. And some of the statistical anomalies in this game. Came into this ball game highlighting Josh Hubbard. Simpson is on him. He has not had a field goal in this game. Both of his points at the free throw line. Simpson trying to keep it and knock it in bounds, could not. Shot clock didn't reset, down to 6. Davis on the drive, all into traffic. Hyatt got the block.
Phenomenal help defense right there by Noah Fernandez. Excellent job, Andre Hyatt, taking that contact on his chest and not fouling.
Wolf trying to find Griffiths, and it was out of bounds. It would help defense by DJ Jeffries, and Rutgers will keep possession.
Nice timely drop and dig right there by Mississippi State. And if you're Antoine Woolfolk, that's where the poise has to come in to effect. When you're getting doubled, take a breath, take a step back to survey the basketball court, and then spray the basketball around accordingly.
It has been hard to find space on the offensive end.
A lot of length, hands high, voice activity that the Mississippi State Bulldogs compete with each and every possession.
Derek Simpson still without a field goal here in this game. He is 0 of 6. That rebound for Jimmy Bell is 10th. And that foul called on Fernandez. Crowd wanted a charge. Instead, it's the first on the grad transfer from UMass.
I think it's the right call, though, as Fernandez was in excellent position, but he actually leans into Davis as he's going into his dribble. That off arm is in question, though, as why the fans are up in arms on that last individual play.
So 4 fouls here in the early 6 minutes of this second half. Just joining us, Cliff Amore on the bench with 4 fouls that he picked up less than 4 minutes into the half. Shaquille Moore into traffic, switched hands and put it in. He had it in his right hand and in the air, switched it to his left and knocked that in.
Amongst the trees, that 6'1", the Greensboro native showing a soft touch. A nice floater.
Griffiths, nice adjustment. Noah Woolfolk didn't hit anything. Shot clock did not reset. Now, there hasn't been a whole lot of rhythm. Credit Mississippi State for that. Foul, count it, and an opportunity for 3. Well, if all else breaks down, just take it into the lane, and that's an opportunity in a 3-point play.
Sometimes you got to just stop the bleeding, and Noah Fernandez has been a pressure release for Rutgers. So many situations in this season. Great recognition, one-on-one situation, and more was in the play right there, but clean driving lane for Fernandez and kept his eyes on the rim the entire way, able to get that up for the conversion despite the contact coming over.
Mag back on the floor. Fernandez had 2 points in the first half. Already a much more impactful offensive second half. And the 85% free throw shooter completes the 3-point play.
Really well-rounded individual Noah Fernandez is. The Massachusetts native talked about once his playing days are over, he hopes to be able to build a gym back in his hometown for kids.
Bell hanging on the baseline, and a foul and an opportunity at 3 himself. He has been massive today, his best game of the season.
Down on the baseline right there in the mid-post area and ready to be able to fight through the contact. And again, Chris Jans, when I walked in to their practice yesterday, mentioned he doesn't have to worry about Jimmy Bell Jr. because he's not new to this.
I lost it today is Bell's 110th career start between St. Louis, West Virginia, Mississippi State. He had 2 double-doubles in his career before this season. Now he's got 3 in this season alone. Great find, and Woelfel couldn't finish.
To your point on Jimmy Bell, responsible for 22.9% of his squad's total rebounding productivity. And coming into this year, the expectations on him weren't to be the starting center. With Tolu Smith anticipated to have a SEC player type of campaign and going down with an injury, more expectations were put on the shoulders of Jimmy Bell Jr. that have had increased minutes. The question is, once Tolu Smith comes back, what happens to his minutes?
Well, if you're Chris Jans, it's a good question to deal with. And they're still waiting. Smith still dealing with the foot injury. He is practicing. They're hoping to have him back. An all-SEC performer last year. It's a foot injury that he suffered before the season. Preseason first-team all-SEC player again. Something that's pretty impressive how Mississippi State has had this year without him. Speaks volumes to the rest of the players stepping up. 5-point game here on the road. Was tied at the half. Bulldogs have had the lead the whole second half. Down to Bell again. 4 on the clock, and Simpson stepped in the lane. Transition. Still can't find the bucket. Well, if you're Steve Pikiell, do you like that, or do you want Simpson to pull that out?
I think you do. You got to allow for the head of the snake of your offensive attack to remain aggressive, and he had the angle to get to the rim, just everything but the conversion.
Griffiths in transition. Simpson trying to tap it out. Said it's in the hands of Moore. Euro step into the paint, rattles out. Griffiths drives baseline. Simpson. And again, he just cannot find a shot.
Up and down pace, guys are gas.
And a foul called on Fernandez in transition.
And he mentioned, how do you neutralize shot blockers? Well, you do so by going at them, by going through their chin. And it's easier when you have someone of the physical stature, size, and ability of a Jimmy Bell Jr., who just wears you down each and every play by using that physicality. We were just talking off air. Very reminiscent of like a Dane Danger in Bill at Illinois.
You know, this is an important moment here for Rutgers. Mag, Amori, Fernandez, all on the bench. Oscar Palmquist is getting his first minutes. And oh no, Michael Davis is down. JaMychal Davis behind the play. An easy 2 for Cameron Matthews. And not sure if he stepped on someone or twisted it when he was coming around the screen, but that did not look good on initial.
Tough, actually, coming together with Oscar Palmquist, his own teammate, and that left knee contorting in a very awkward position.
Well, Richard Campbell, the trainer, will take a look at him over on the bench. But with the free throw and the fast break point, Mississippi State has built its lead to 9. Rutgers has only scored 8 points in the first 8.5 minutes of the second half. First action of the day for Oscar Palmquist. Cut to the basket, and it was blocked. Great recovery by Moore. And in transition, Jones lost the basketball. Palmquist pulls up for 3. Well, you haven't played a lot. Let's get right into the action.
Feverish pace, Oscar Palmquist. That is a big-time response and reaction time. Cam Matthews right there for that block. Both teams getting up and down.
Matthews on the finish, and Steve Pikiell needs a timeout. Noah Fernandez, this has not been a high-scoring second half for Rutgers. He has 7 of their 8 points here to get them going.
Yeah, he's been the hot hand, and it's nice to ride that wave once you see a player is confident. And this has been a trend for Rutgers for the majority of the season. Don't score a ton of points collectively. Last in the league, around 70 points per game on average. So when you see a guy stepping up and being able to get going, you got to ride that hand.
A lot of tough shots, too, and then a silly foul. Austin Williams took it into the paint. An ill-advised shot, commits the foul. And here's the other problem. Mississippi State has a 71% free throw shooting team, and they're shooting free throws the rest of the ball game.
Yeah, and that plays right into what Mississippi State likes to do from a defensive standpoint, driving into the team as Cliff Amore checks back in. It's about that time. But you got to make this defense move, and you do that by moving the basketball from one side of the court to the other, looking for those clear driving lanes.
And Cliff Amore back on the floor. So how long sit? The answer is as long as they could. 10:25 to go. Cliff Amore backing with 4 fouls. A 1-and-1 for Shaquille Moore, and he hits the first.
It's that sixth sense that coaches have to really grasp how the momentum is favoring either in favor of your team or if the other team is starting to pull away a little bit, and you got to take risks once in a while.
He is not a good free throw shooter. Shaquille Moore just about 60% on the year, but Mississippi State today, 14 of 16 at the line. Rutgers has not scored. Again, a 3-minute drought. JaMychal Davis back on the floor, and Amore's tangled up. And again, that's the mental game, too. Jimmy Bell has dominated the paint today, and he has to stay on the floor. They work it down to Bell. No, Jeffries trying to slam it home. Griffiths on the push. Tough work into the paint. He finally worked at the line. He used all of his energy to get that one up on Matthews.
Yeah, he sure did. And if it's going to be someone who I think can help the cause of trying to put a dent into this point differential, it is Andre Hyde. He had the big first half, and that's a nice one-on-one move against a tough defender in Matthews right there, getting him going in one direction and then dropping him off. Getting to the free throw.
Davis back on the floor for Mississippi State. Andre Hyatt finished the first half. He had a clean steal and hit a 3 to tie the game at 29. But it has been tough sledding since. He splits the pair. 9.5 to go here in Newark. Moore, blocked by Moore. Moore is fouled underneath, trying to get position. Jimmy Bell picks up the foul.
That is a phenomenal sequence right there by Cliff Amore, starting on the defensive end. One of the best rim protectors in the nation, but I was even more impressed after exerting, getting to that basketball on the block, putting his chin on the rim, and beating Jimmy Bell Jr. down the floor and establishing post position.
Just the second on Bell, the 6th on the Bulldogs. So now Rutgers will be in the bonus moving forward. Griffiths, lazy pass, and Moore read it. Did not have a ton of zip trying to throw that across the lane.
He telegraphed that one. Moore read him the entire way.
Moore stepped into the lane. Bell, another offensive rebound. He has tied a career high with 14 boards. Over Amore, no. Now Rutgers has to find a spark. Someone has to hit a shot. And Hyatt on cue.
Nice ball advancement right there. Rutgers worked on that all week. Some juice in Peru right now for the guys in Scarlet.
And Chris Jans can sense it. He does not want to let Rutgers get back-to-back buckets. Timeout taken.
24.3% of their total scoring is coming from when they're out and about. And for Jimmy Bell Jr., you got to make a business decision. Obviously, Cliff Amore has to be cognizant of his foul situation, but you also got to put a body on the big guy.
Triple out of the timeout. Big shot for Shaquille Moore.
Nice set right there for Chris Jans, getting Moore freed up, swinging that basketball around. He stepped into it and knocked it down.
Mississippi State hits a ton of threes because they take a ton of threes. Not the case today. Just 4-14, but that is a timely bucket out of the timeout. Rutgers works it to Amori. It's not really been in this ball game today.
They've done a phenomenal job on Josh Hubbard, who was one of our players to watch for this game. With only 2 points in this contest, they haven't been able to get going and had enough space to operate from amongst the arc.
He has not played a ton. He's only been on the floor for a couple minutes in the second half. And alley-oop to Matthews. Great find. And the senior from Olive Branch, Mississippi, has a double-double too.
Looks very similar to a go-ahead alley-oop play Matthews had earlier this season. That is a big-time athletic play on his backside.
Hyatt is fouled.
And this play is made by the back screen right here by Ward. And Andre Hyatt just gets lost. And Cam Matthews does so many different things for this team. So interchangeable. When you throw it up to the rim, he'll go and get it.
So Andre Hyatt back to the free throw line. Counted that bucket, so an opportunity at a three-point play. And he converts, so it is back to a 10-point game. It was tied at 29 at the half. Bulldogs have pushed it to 13 on 2 separate occasions. Well, to your point, though, for Mississippi State, Hubbard, yes, leading scorer and all off the bench, but he's a freshman. They got a lot of experienced guys who play, and in a game like this, you want your fifth-year guys.
This is the best defense he's faced all year. That's a nice cut right there, moving off the ball by Jeffries.
Mississippi State battle-tested too. This is their 6th neutral site game of the year. And they have not lost any of them. Fernandez, good pump, could not finish. And another board for Bell.
We talked with Chris Jans about his approach to these games, and he likes it because you take the lumps and the bumps and the bruises early on in the season. When you get into NCAA tournament and conference play, it's nothing to you because you've already been there before.
Yeah, Florida Atlantic, they will play Arizona later today in Las Vegas, so they'll also have a chance to get to 6-0 coming off their run to the Final Four. But Chris Jans took over a Mississippi State team, and they went to the tournament last year. They played in the first 4 and lost. But this is not a basketball program, Austin, that's got a ton of trips to the NCAA tournament. In fact, they have been back-to-back trips to the tournament since 2008, 2009. And it's not a team that has all the history in the world of NCAA tournament trips. I mean, they went 4 times between 1963 and 2000, so not a ton.
Another turnkey guy that you bring into your program because he knows how to build a culture the right way. Very similar to Steve Michael in that regard. He mentioned that you don't have to be a brand name program to make a run at the NCAA tournament. In the SEC, where you got the likes of Kentucky and Tennessee with tradition, he's standing out.
Yeah, no question. Foul called. He wanted a jump ball called. So instead, it's Cliff Amori for a 1-and-1 at the free throw line, a 63% free throw shooter. And he earns the bonus. Inside of 6 minutes to go. Bulldogs up double digits. Matthews trying to get downhill. Matt got in his way. Davis was bumped. Jump stop. Gets the roll. And the Bulldogs have their biggest lead again.
Nice job utilizing a little drop of the shoulder right there to create space. Get that shot off, despite the defender hanging all over.
Matt got in the lane for 2. Juan Mag has 8 in his 3rd game back from the torn ACL. But it's that where Rutgers is going to have to compete. Hyatt knocked it out of bounds. Fernandez is down in the backcourt. And Mississippi State's going to take a timeout. Came into the game second in the SEC in rebounds per game behind only Henry Coleman at Texas A&M. And then Cameron Matthews was just building off the game he had against North Texas. He had the 9 points and what was season-high 12 rebounds. And today he is finishing that, and a lot of the stuff from Matthews has been here in the second half, too. He's got the basketball on the drive. 5 on the clock. Kick out to Matthews. Had it knocked away down to 1. And that is a shot clock violation.
Nice job staying in the play right there. Active hands for Rutgers as Matthews continues to keep his foot on the gas and remain aggressive, trying to get to the rim.
Well, that's the other thing they've done better. Mississippi State had 9 turnovers in the first half. That is just the 4th here in the second half. Simpson still yet to hit a shot. Finally knocks one in. He had missed his first 8, and that's a big bucket.
That's a good read, taking what the defense gives you, remaining under control and getting into that midi, rising up with confidence.
Moore got through the defense. Bell with the floater, and a pretty quick shot too. A good look, but a quick shot.
That's what rim protection and a shot blocking presence does for you. Makes you stray away from your fundamentals.
Simpson from the same spot, hits again, back-to-back buckets, and timeout Rutgers.
Big time shot right there from the Mount Laurel, New Jersey native.
To come by again, Mississippi State, like Rutgers, a great defensive team. Scarlet Knights taking care of the basketball, just 7 turnovers. And Matt gives the foul in the backcourt, and that is going to send Cameron Matthews to the line for a 1-and-1.
Little reach right there in front of us by Mawat Mag, but the snapback reaction by Cam Matthews is what drew the foul. Nice up.
That's not the worst thing. Matthews is a 62% free throw shooter, but he is having a whale of a game. That earns the bonus. Hubbard is back on the floor for the Bulldogs. He has not played a lot here in the second half. Hit them both. Mississippi State here this afternoon. 18 of 20 at the stripe. That is 90% at the line.
This is a team that doesn't lose when they reach that 25-point free throw mark when they're able to convert.
Out to Simpson for 3. It's a big shot. He left it long. And Amori is whistled for the foul, and he is done. He thought he had his hand on the basketball. Instead, that is his 5th foul. And Cliff Amori is fouled out with 3 points and no rebounds here this afternoon.
And off with a good look by Derek Simpson. Got 3 Mississippi State Bulldogs battling with Cliff Amori. When you're not able to get that proper position, it's difficult.
Austin, this is the 100th game in Cliff Amori's Rutgers career, and it has been an excellent career. This is the first time he has ever had a game without a rebound.
That's insane. That speaks to the physical nature and the game, obviously the game planning of Chris Jans, but the play style of a player like Jimmy Bell Jr. that just wears you down each and every possession.
Oh, the nature, too, of where he's playing. I mean, at 6'11" and 240, again, the amount of minutes he's played over his career have increased. His offensive prowess has increased, but at some point you think a ball just falls into your lap, but not today. Back to a 12-point game. Simpson again. Fernandez the offensive rebound, and he's in traffic. Rutgers today, just 3 of 15 from beyond the arc. Hyatt has all 3 of the triples. And again, just tough defense. They've had tough look after tough look all afternoon.
Very easy to guard right now because it's running, and predictably so, through one individual player and not a continuity to the ball swinging around. Rutgers has to get back to moving this defense. Been in one-on-one dribble drive situations over the last couple of possessions.
Mississippi State working clock, up by 12. Long three for Davis, and a long rebound for Fernandez. It's not desperation time yet, but it's getting close. Simpson tries again.
These are good looks. You're stepping into them, you got your balance, going through your progressions and your fundamentals, just not converting.
So they were concerned about the rebounds. Mississippi State this afternoon, the Bulldogs are plus 21 on the glass. And Jimmy Bell Jr. has a career-high 17 rebounds.
That's big time right there. Came in, obviously, as the SEC leader in a lot of different categories, but talk about a certain year dominance. It's a grown man.
Mag for three. Not close. And now 18 rebounds, and they're going to slow this up. Now, offensively today, it has been a grind for Rutgers, no question about it. And they just were not able to find consistent offense at any point in this basketball game.
And you mentioned it. That's the question in hand. Obviously, you know what you're going to get defensively. There's some questions in the rebounding category, and obviously from the free throw statistics, too. But offensively, who's going to be that presence to come out and be able to get you going? Create space and opportunities.
Again, there are a lot of bigs in the SEC too. We've talked about the Big Ten as a conference the past few years as a conference of bigs. The SEC's got some good ones, but Mississippi State's got a plethora of bigs. And this one had the best game. No question, Jimmy Bell Jr. was outstanding today.
I'll raise the question to you again. What happens to his minutes when Tolu Smith comes back?
I mean, you think when you bring in an all-conference player, you assume they go down. I mean, that's tough. Tolu Smith can guard, if you're talking to Chris Jam, he can guard the 4 or the 5, but can Jimmy Bell Jr. guard more athletic players? I don't know. The answer to that is yes.
Yep. Very similar. The defense is going to dictate that. Who they can match up with. Can you play them together? Be interesting to see.
And for how many minutes if the answer to that is yes. But that's a good problem to have. Griffiths on the pull-up, and he was fouled. So with the clock stopped at 1:16, an opportunity to go to the line. Well, barring something drastic here, it's going to be a solid win for Mississippi State. Yet another neutral site for Rutgers. The opportunity to regroup here. Austin, you'll be on that call, I believe, against Stonehill next week. So Steve Pikel's team against a team that is new to Division I, and over the last couple of years they'll have that game, but then they jump right into the deep end, and three of the first Big Ten games with the conference resuming play in January are on the road.
And that's the unrelated nature of being in this type of conference. There's no rest for the weary. Obviously, you try to get back on the right track if this game concludes in this fashion, but right after the new year, you're smack dab in it against one of the better teams in the entire nation.
Not fouling here as we approach a minute to go in an 11-point game. Hubbard left at baseline. 4 finishes. He's got 8. And the Bulldogs have continued to share the basketball well. And the struggles on the offense for them in the first half been a little bit different here in the second half. That's the finisher for Mississippi State in transition. And a technical foul and called on Shaquille Moore for hanging on the rim. I don't know. Look, he did pull himself up, and that certainly, he went pretty horizontal. That would have been dangerous if he let go.
I don't like that call. Anytime your momentum is taking you in a situation where it's a potential dangerous predicament, I think you should be able to protect yourself.
I was called from behind. It was Jerry Heater who called that, and he was back on the other side of the floor. So Hyatt with the technical foul free throws, or the free throw. Very impressive second half here for Mississippi State. They were in a grind. They were turning the basketball over, but on the glass, on the defensive end, and then late in this game on the offensive end too.
They're completely turned off the water and didn't allow Rutgers any rhythm to get going, especially from amongst the arc. Focused in on disallowing them to develop momentum in transition, which is where REU likes to score a lot of their points.
Off the turnover, Simpson slams it down, back to a 10-point game with 30 seconds to go. And Simpson gives the foul.
And the rebounding numbers, that is a huge differential, which will have to be corrected for the Scarlet Knights going into Big Ten Conference play.
For Mississippi State, it's in an SEC where you talk to their coaching staff, when they play well, they can feel like that they can play with anybody in the conference. Question is, though, where will they be when this year goes on? Certainly a defensive team, but their improvement from last year to this year on the offensive end, and again, all of that without Tolu Smith, has been very impressive. Final 25 seconds to go here in Newark in what will be a 6th neutral site win for the Bulldogs. The alley-oop to Griffiths on the baseline. Freshman's got 9. We'll see if Steve Peichel decides to call everybody off. The shot clock turned off. One more turn, nope, no turnover. More into the front court, and they're going to dribble it out. Now, not officially a true road game, but a solid win nonetheless for Mississippi State.